I was commissioned to create a Pixel Mosaic project for a customer for a bistro, or how you call it, a restaurant. At that time I was quite new and the only thing I know was how to create the mosaic. So I tried to create the work. If you might not know, there are two types of scenes in the mosaic art world or in the mosaic commissioning, which is the creating part and the installing part, the mosaic install process, whether it's a wall or floor, whatever. So I create all the mosaics. The restaurant was 500 kilometers far from my studio, so I put everything in boxes and in my car, and I drove to that restaurant. It was quite cold in winter, really not a nice environment, if you know about these construction areas. And my biggest problem was I had no one to install the tiles for me, because I didn't trust anyone. If mosaic art is not that known in your country, then you have to do stuff yourself to make sure everything goes correctly in a visual way and in a technical way. But the main problem was I was talking to my client like I was the studio owner, and I was the studio owner actually. But in some countries, people act like the studio owner is someone who sits in, on a nice office and just talking, and they have someone to work for them in the studio. They have some people to make the installing, and this was not the case in my position. I was the owner, I was the designer, I was the mosaic creator, I was the one who was putting all that stuff together. I was the one who installed this thing on the wall, the mosaic on the wall, and I was the one who was asked for the money and for all the official stuff. And so I was responsible for everything, and this was quite weird. It was quite weird, and I started to apply, I start to pull the tile, the tin set on the wall, and I start to put the tiles, 30 by 30 mosaic sheets on the wall very carefully and stuff. And then I felt a nice perfume, I was smelling a nice perfume on my back, and I knew someone arrived there. And I was afraid that the owner of that restaurant will come across and see me during the installation, if you know what I mean. So I felt that nice perfume, and someone would yeah, it looks quite good, with the businessman voice kind of, or act like a businessman voice. And yeah, the thing was, at that moment he was quite behind me, the restaurant owner, and he was like, where is Mr. Ian Kaiser? And he just thought I was someone who worked for the company, the installer, and he was acting like, where is the owner of that studio? Who's taking care if everything is correct, or not? And the stupid thing was, it was me. I was the owner and I was installing the tiles, and I had to say, hello sir, it's me, I am. And he was like, are you the one that we was talking to? And I said, yeah, I think people don't expect that an installer, a worker, let's say, can be able to talk business with such a financial, with such a restaurant owner. And I think it was kind of a funny story, not funny, but it was quite interesting, and I think it's worth it to share it with you, and that's why I make this video. It was a quick story about where is the owner, kind of, and I hope you like it. If you like the channel, just subscribe if you don't want to miss another funny or interesting stories and stuff. See you next time. Be well.